We back. It's been slightly over a week.
Whew. That 5K. Whew. I didn't realize it was going to take that long. I took a lot of breaks in between.
Yeah,
Is
right.
what
Yeah.
it was what it was.
And you know what I always say. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to The Real Deal featuring
The beard and nipples?
That is not what is said. That is not what is said,
that
kind
is
sir.
always what I say.
Yeah, and here's
Every
the thing.
time.
I thought they said I was going to be given 5K. I'm like, all right. They're like, start getting. Go get.
That's what I heard. To give. I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about 5Ks. We're talking about dinosaurs from Jurassic Park. Park? Anyway.
Geosuric
Uh,
para.
anyway, um, we also might have a little other discussion on other uh, television shows, but we'll did you want to talk a little bit about Stranger Things or
Yeah, let's
uh,
get that.
okay?
Yeah, let's start off with that just because I finished that more recently and I saw Geosuric para prior to me finishing said show. But anyway, no, this season was incredible. They it Even though it was kind of split into two parts with a partial break in between, but I actually liked the like full-fledged mini movies as each episode. And they were like, hour and 40, hour 45 minutes, and then the finale was like 2+ hours. But no, it was incredible. I We got introduced to the man, the myth, the legend, Eddie Munson, who I didn't think there was a bigger baby face on the show than Hopper. Me. um, but Eddie Munson comes into our lives, and like again, once again, it's the second time from this show where I saw my wife cry from somebody's, spoiler alert, from somebody's death.
That was tough. That was
He didn't run anymore, and here's the thing. I told her this. They said that, she goes, that said that scene was really tough. I said no. The worst scene was Dustin having to tell the uncle
yes.
when he's putting up the flyers.
Oh,
That ruined me.
that was. I thought the hardest was watching his death scene, but then when his uncle was there, oh, that was tough. But can we? It's a little bit of a sidebar. Can we like show this show to, I don't know, writers at AEW/WWE and show them how to write a story and how to actually get people to care about a character as much as they cared about Eddie? Like one
Thank
season,
you. Thank
one
you.
season, and people love this guy. Love, like, I don't want to say cult, but like people, we're not joking when we say we cried. Like it hit you hard because you know, and in the beginning, I didn't think he was gonna be a character that people would really like. I thought he was gonna be annoying. But
Right?
you keep watching, you're like, I fucking love this guy.
Because what happened? He gained sympathy.
Yeah.
He watches what's her face get turned into Sid Vicious, and even Sid Vicious said, "I know me breaking my leg was bad, but I'm not. I'm gonna give that girl that one." But
Ooh.
that was the thing. Whatever. Again, it was a an again an evolution someone's character, because that was my thought too. You thought he was going to be like the prick, cocky, niche thing, but right offhand, when he cuts that promo on everybody this isn't a wrestling podcast, by the way, but obviously we put this in our colloquialisms in everyday life. But anyway,
True.
but when he cuts that promo on everybody in the cafeteria, you're like, yes. He goes, I know I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I'm a stooge, whatever though. And guess what? I don't care. He was unabashedly himself. Didn't
Yep.
care if anybody liked it, didn't care if anybody hated it. He is what he presented himself to be, i.e., that's how you develop a wrestling character.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, his friendship with Dustin, like, oh, you really, it really got you when he when he cut that rope and he was going back to face the bats, and Dusty was like he was really hurt. You know, he didn't want him to go, but like you said, Eddie finally wasn't running anymore.
I didn't run away anymore. And sometimes Dustin gets on my nerves, but this season, holy crap, did he knock it out of the park.
Yes.
Because again, he's he's odd and quirky, but like the way he presents things, like when he's saying it's like stabbing Dracula in his coffin, blah blah blah. It's like the weird, minutia that goes about these things, but you're like, yeah, it makes sense to you. But per the scene that you're talking about, Eddie cuts the rope and Dustin sells the fact like, no, you asshole, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. But Eddie's like, hey, it's my time now. He says, your time is up. My time is now. And can we just applaud the Duffer Brothers for making Master of Puppets over again? That is like still one of the greatest albums. That's one of the best songs I've ever heard in my life. And come to find out, he's actually playing it.
Yep.
I mean, yes, that is the audio dubbing over, but there's a clip that's making the rounds of him actually fucking playing Master of Puppets. And,
Yeah.
and the only reason why I know that like it's legit, whatever, because I came across the clip with the sound off, but how he was moving his hand, I'm like, holy shit, that's the intro. I could just tell from the
Well, and I saw an interview with him where he was talking about how he's actually has played guitar for years. So like right there, I am so glad they actually got somebody casted that actually, plays guitar. Because even if you get somebody who doesn't, it just looks weird when somebody who doesn't obviously doesn't play guitar tries to pretend like they are. So at least he kind of knew what he was doing, so it was more believable. And there were some people online who were like, the timing doesn't make sense because in the show, Master of Puppets would have been released 2 months before, and he learned it that quickly. And I'm like, are you really breaking
Wait
it
a
down
minute.
that much?
Wait,
Like, come on.
but that's what I'm saying. It's like that's where again when people get way too far in the specifics of stuff. It's like, but it came out April 1986.
Yeah.
Does that matter that it was too like again, we're talking about a show where guys are in a place called the Upside Down fighting somebody that is named after a Dungeons and Dragons character. So I think we can bypass a little
Yeah.
minor detail of like, actually, the when Master of Puppets came out, and again, it's like to me, it's like Bohemian Rhapsody. I know I keep coming to this example, but Yes, again, spoiler, but it's been a few years now. But again, like Freddie tells the Brian May and the other bandmates that he has AIDS before Live Aid. But like how do you mesh about a 7 or 8 year period, or how do you flush that out, or do you just take a little bit of creative license and just, but like again, but that happened.
Yeah,
No, it did not happen before Live Aid, but that situation did take place because it wasn't until like 1990, 1989, something like that, when it was known that he had AIDS. So that's what I'm saying. Like when people go after these details, and I get it. But if you want them to fully flesh out like the actual details, A, is that a compelling element to make a movie, and B, do you want a 5 hour movie?
yeah, yep. And it was another thing that I kind of wanted to bring up in our conversation about Stranger Things. Since we're having it now anyway,
this
this could be a two part episode or in one.
is true,
Anyway,
but we got to make up for lost time.
yeah, exactly. But and I want to see if this causes any controversy. It shouldn't, but with the way our world is and with the way our society is, I'm sure it will. It has come out and been acknowledged that um,
Yes.
Will is gay, apparently, and is in love with Mike. I really want to see where that goes because they teased it a lot this season. You could see it from his reactions and things like that with Mike and 11. You could see it. And I kind of want to see where that goes, and I'm curious to see the backlash from because some people are going to be like, well, why are you trying to push this down our throats? Blah blah blah. We're not. This is just how life is. Some people are gay, some people are straight. It's just how it is. But I was reading that they basically confirmed it, and I'm wondering how they're gonna do it. What's gonna happen in season 5?
And I'll throw in my fantasy booking right off the bat, because well, to me you kind of got breadcrumbs of that at first, because at first it was just like to me it was presented as, and also keep in mind too, like it has been a lull before I've gone back and watched the old episodes, which I need to do for a rebuttal, because I think it's like in season 2, Will's in the hospital and they kind of have a moment too where that kind of was like the seed planted for this whole thing. But it wasn't until they make that commute in Homeboy's Volkswagen where they're trying to get to where Eleven's being held captive, I think. But they're
Yeah,
down the road. Will has that moment with Mike, whatever, though, in the Volkswagen, and then kind of what Will was saying, like Mike, I love you, and then like that's kind of, and not so like so matter of fact like that, whatever. But that's when you kind of get like, man, he actually loves him quote intimately, and loves him as a person. And you got to let's think about this. No father figure. It's just been him and his mom.
yeah,
So there was never that type of that type of male figure, and for some reason Mike fulfills that for Will, but he knows that Mike and 11 are a thing. So like what I propose is just two things. It's either going to be Will sacrifices himself, since he's going to be the subject of being possessed in some manner again, because they're kind of circling it back around to how season 1 was. At least that's what's being perceived. But I think he may sacrifice himself so 11 and Mike can be together for whatever means, or 11 sacrifices herself or stays in the upside down forever to make sure that whatever is happening in the upside down doesn't cross over into the real world again. Like she gets powers beyond what we've already seen, taps into like whatever quote Papa got out of her, and is forever gone. But again, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I'm just excited to see what happens because we had a lot, you know, a lot more development. And I feel like in this season, um,
Oh yes.
you know, you found out a lot more about Eleven's backstory than I feel like we knew before, and everything connected, which I like. How you know, but I also, you know, I was never a huge like I was never hugely into Dungeons and Dragons, but I like how everything is connected with Dungeons and Dragons, and now like fans are, you know, giving their theories on, you know, okay, you know, what's going to happen with Eddie? He, you know, is he going to come back um as a vampire if he, you know, which I hope, because he kind of has unfinished business. So I feel like he's gonna come back and, you know, help kind of defeat the big baddie, whoever that's gonna be. If it's still gonna be Vecna, or if there's something else, because I feel like there's always something bigger that comes out. You know, like originally it was the Demogorgon, and then there were like, you know, stronger Demogorgons, and then it was Vecna, and you know, so I'm just,
The demi dogs.
yeah, the demi dogs. So I'm definitely curious to see what happens with that. Um, Obviously, there's going to be other characters that aren't going to make it all the way through, so I'm worried to see who's not gonna make it out of season five. Um, but I'm definitely excited about it. Even though we have to wait until I think 2024 now or something like that.
Is it that long? See, I couldn't remember. But at the same time, too, they're kind of going about it like the show The Crown. I don't know if you ever dove into that. They they have a kind of like a year or two gap in between, and they pick different people to play said characters, which I think is great because it actually ups the natural progression of like they pick people that are about that age from that time currently that would have been that Queen Elizabeth and Philip and all those people, what they would have looked like around that time, which I do kind of like. But these kids are growing before our very eyes, if you will. Now, and I'll tell you this: the Eddie scenario.
Yeah.
Do you know who Iron Maiden is?
Yep, I know exactly what. Yep.
It was what is the name of their mascot?
I believe it's Eddie.
You would be correct, sir. Like tell me that would not be great that he doesn't come back as like it could be a vampire or like however you want to do it, but but something that looks like that, so that ties everything in. Plus it's also uh this is also the payoff to the I said music, and he pulls up the Iron Maiden tape and he goes, "This is music."
Well, and you know, a lot of people were saying that was kind of an Easter egg and kind of a tease, because
Yes.
if you look at Eddie, their mascot, looks a lot like Eddie, the character in Stranger Things.
I'm
Like,
telling you, I'm telling you, like that would be amazing. And then having his introduction be the song "Number of the Beast," and I'm like Duffer Brothers again. Like I will be your consultant as a madman who is a massive fan of the show.
I just want to work on the show. You don't even have to. You don't even have to pay me. I just, I just want to be involved. Um, But yeah, I'm definitely excited. I believe I did see that it's going to be 2024 for season 5, which
Damn it.
yeah, it sucks having to wait that long, but at least it's not.
Always
Uh,
leave him wanting more.
wasn't it like some season 3 to 4 was like 2 years or something like that?
Something,
Uh,
yeah, something like that. And that's why I'm saying
so
I kind of like that progression because
yeah,
they are naturally getting older and they look youthful enough that you still kind of believe that they're 17, 18-year olds, blah blah blah.
yeah, yeah. Um, and I don't know if I want them to do this, but I kind of would be curious to see kind of almost like in It, where It Part Two was when they were adults. I kind of want to see what happens when they become adults, and if they still have to deal with the upside down at that point or anything having to do with it. Because I feel like they built up the upside down so much that it doesn't just go away. You know what I mean? Like it's not just gonna go away. So it's always gonna be there. They're always gonna have to somehow deal with it. Um, but I guess we'll see what they do in season 5, and if there's anything after that, I don't know.
And we're gonna start a crowdfunding move to where we me and Casey make season 6, and it's going to be called Right Side Up.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Just saying.
It's gonna be terrible, but
Hey,
it's gonna be great, fantastic, best thing that you
goddamn right it is.
Anyway, are we ready to move on to the part two?
The Jurassic Park.
Yeah, of the domino. I think that's
Of the domain.
the Domanian. Yeah. So
30 minutes or less.
exactly. So we both finally saw Jurassic Park Dominion, and we figured we'd talk about it because I there were things I liked, there were things I didn't like. Uh, but at the end of the day, it's exactly what you would expect from a Jurassic Park movie. So I mean, I couldn't be fully upset, but and I guess I'll kind of get into what I liked and didn't like. Um, One thing that I really had a problem with, and a bunch of other people brought this up because they kept doing. They even did this with like I think it was Jurassic Park 3, where
Ugh.
the previews show like dinosaurs going through neighborhoods and like drinking out of a swimming pool and stuff like that. So you're like, oh, cool. We're gonna see how these dinosaurs interact in like actual society and like how people deal with them. Nope, it's always on a fucking island. Yep, just and what where was Dominion? Basically, it was on an island. Yeah, I just I wanted it to either be, where like actual society has to deal with dinosaurs and how they live with them on a day-to-day basis, or just focus on the dinosaurs. Take the humans out of it because we've already seen 5 movies with basically the same crap where this person gets eaten, you know, oh no, we've done a terrible thing. We have to stop what we're doing. We already know that. But then also, it felt like in this movie there were 3 storylines in one movie. You had the storyline with the locusts, you had the original cast, their kind of storyline, and then you had the newer characters in their little part of the story. And it kind of felt like they interconnected, but it kind of didn't. It felt like they wanted to do 3 different movies and just put them in one, which was like, okay, that's fine. But I don't know. There were times where it felt cluttered and it felt like you jumped back and forth from three different stories, and it was like, okay, but what wait, what's going on? Um, Also, there was some weird cutscenes that I felt like there was a scene where I forgot who they were climbing up a ladder, and the typical, oh, oh, he almost fell off the ladder. They go to grab him and pull him up. The very next cut, he's already up there. Like they didn't even show him struggling to be pulled up. It was just like it was weird cuts like that. But I think
It was Sam Neill saving
yeah,
Malk or Jeff
yeah,
Goldblum. I
yeah,
almost Grant helping Malcolm is what I meant
yeah,
to say.
yeah. It was just weird to me because it just cuts to okay, he's up now, and I'm like, yes, it's just a little part that was taken, felt like it was taken out, but still, I feel like that would have added to it, like, oh, the suspense of like, oh, is he going to be able to pull him up? Nope, he's automatically up there.
But see, that was not the point of the scene, kind sir. It was there's always been tension between Ian Malcolm and Dr. Grant because Ian Malcolm was hitting on Isley for a considerable amount of time during the first movie. I don't see how can this be misinterpreted.
Anyway, uh, yeah, so like little things like that. But all in all, like I like the movie. Um, there wasn't anything that was like blew me away or that I didn't expect from a Jurassic Park movie. You kind of you go in kind of knowing what you're gonna expect, and for the most part, you're not really
Your your audio went out, sir.
hello, can you hear me?
There we go. There we go.
Anyway, but I was saying like you go into these Jurassic Park movies and you kind of know what to expect, so like you're not really let down, but you're not really like nothing's blowing you away because there's things that they could have done but they didn't. I don't know. I liked it. I would definitely go see it again, but it wasn't anything where I'm like, oh my god, that was the greatest Jurassic Park movie of all time. Because I think the original one was still, and I think still, and I kind of I mentioned this to you. Um, you watch this movie and any of the Jurassic Park movies after the first one, and the first one, the animation looks great, the CGI looks great, like it actually looks like the dinosaurs are there. Everything after that, it yes, the dinosaurs look real, but it doesn't. There's something about it that doesn't make it seem like they're really there. I don't know what it is. I've heard of a couple people say that too. It's like there's something about it where I guess they got the magic in the bottle for the first movie, or maybe it was just because we hadn't seen it before, so it was like, oh my god, like it looks so real to us. Anything after that, it's like, yeah, it looks good, but something about it just doesn't look like it's actually there. Um, but anyway, Adam,
I enjoyed it.
yeah,
Like pretty much like nothing really off kilter. I'm pulling a just that. I mean, what can you say about this? Now let me go on for 15 minutes. Anyway, no, like I enjoyed it. Yes, like I knew what to expect per se. Here's been this has to me been the criticism of the Jurassic World uh, series, because this is the third of the I I don't even know what you would call these, because the first three were Jurassic Park. Those are like that specific realm. I mean, the third one's okay because they go back to the island and whatnot, whatever. But the dinosaurs are so phony looking. I can appreciate Jurassic World or the Lost World to a certain degree, because I mean it's still Spielberg, but it was mainly Malcolm this time, and he had Vince Vaughn, he had Julianne Moore, etc. Um, and these, I mean, like you're gonna play off of who the hot commodity is, which is Chris Pratt. And he was kind of a not a non-factor, but like, but at the same time, I think they were putting emphasis on the throwbacks with Grant being brought back and Isley and Malcolm being brought back. They were kind of more the focal point, because it was kind of meshing the first one and this one together. And yes, it was maybe a little cluttered with the jamming of the three storylines. But here's what I think like the main crux of people's problems with the Jurassic Worlds, and it kind of falls into like the Walking Dead scenario, where now the byproduct and the what's in the background is the dinosaurs rather than being in the forefront. So kind of like you said, like, if we have evolved this much with the dinosaurs being genetically made through their DNA and all that stuff, we've obviously have done something to coexist with them in a sense. We should see like the more friendlier ones, or however you want to call it, roaming amongst people. But yes, the kind of the I don't even know what you would call it, like the messiness of the storyline is a little perturbed. But I was I was still, I was still there. I was still bashing my popcorn, on the edge of my seat and all that stuff, particularly because I did think it really picked up kind of towards the end. And but what I love about these movies, especially the Jurassic World ones, is that they're still showing that the original T-Rex is king. Like, still the goat in all this, because he always ends up being the baby face in the end. I mean, look at the first Jurassic Park, and the other thing too, folks. If you've never seen Jurassic Park, that is an absolute phenomenal achievement in movie making, because those dinosaurs look real as fuck, particularly up close. And in this one, again, they kind of went back to that a little bit, especially when they went to the Brontosaurus, or that the little, the three horn that's not feeling that well. But there is moments where you're like, okay, that's clearly CGI. And it always, I don't know why they have to put it in this environment when they're in the snow. In the snow, it intensified it more, where you're like, okay, that there, it's obviously not that. And yes, it's like, I understand it's a movie, but don't make it so spoon fed that this is obviously BS. But I don't know. Overall, I enjoyed it. Come to find out, the redhead, the girl that's with Chris Pratt, that is Ron Howard's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what? I always get those little factoid videos, like when I scroll through Facebook, like, people you do not know were related to famous people, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, wait, what? She
Yeah.
was blessed. She was blessed in the looks department. Ron Howard is not. No offense, Ronnie, but here's the thing: Ron Howard is Channing Tatum compared to his brother Clint. Go watch any movie. Go watch any old movie from the 80s and 90s. You'll see what I'm talking about. Woof.
Yep. But the one scene I really did like was the construction site scene.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where like, and it was kind of still in the beginning of the movie, and I was like, oh, maybe again, it gave me hope that, hey, maybe we're gonna see humans having to interact with dinosaurs in regular
That's not
society.
that is not where I thought you were going for a second.
Where did you think I was going, sir?
I want to see people have intercourse with these dinosaurs.
Listen, I'm just saying, if never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm just saying, somebody probably has that fetish. I don't. Anyway, no, but that was what was like, oh, maybe we'll actually see, humans and dinosaur interactions in everyday society. And nope, Nope, that was it. That was all we got. And then we got giant fucking locusts for some reason because that has to do with dinosaurs too, right? Yeah. What? Like I get what they were going for with like, oh, we have to, and again, this is a recurring theme with Jurassic Park. Oh, we have to take care of our Earth, and we have to, make sure that it's there for future generations. Why giant fucking locusts though? Like what? For, for a second, when they first introduced them, I was like, am I still watching the same movie? Did the projectionist change the movie? It was so confusing and just out of left field, and I'm like, what? I don't know if you had the same.
Kind of, because I knew what they were going with it, because it went very, very sciencey, again with the ecosystem and how, like how do we go about it with, making crops and, blah, blah, blah. Again, like maybe probably not necessary. Or if you're going to go that route, then trim another aspect of the story that they were trying to go for because it did clutter it up.
Yeah. Um, I also did like that. The little girl, or the main girl now, the kid. It was I guess a clone, which was interesting.
Correct.
I kind of like that. That kind of was a little fun, a little sort of side story, I guess, because it was kind of mentioned, but I felt like it didn't go where it could have. Um, but and it kind of explained her sort of, I guess, connection with at least the Raptors because they were clones as well. So that kind of was cool. Um, but then you get the typical black market scene because again, in all of these movies there has to be the villains that are trying to buy dinosaurs to militarize them and stuff, and I'm like, okay, no.
But no, and I get that, but at the
Yeah.
same time too, I do think it is an important aspect of like us as humans becoming too big for our britches.
Yes. Yeah. But did you have anything else that you wanted to go over on the Jurassic?
No. Actually, real sidebar. I mean, we don't have to, fully flesh it out. Have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet?
I have not seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet.
Ooh,
I need.
doggy.
It's good.
I mean, as I was sports entertained, if you will. Now, when you when if and when you go see it, I'm going to ask you a few questions at the time, whatever. But let me I will just say this: it should have been called Thor: Love and Guns and Roses,
I'm not surprised.
because Appetite for Destruction is played a lot in this flick. But it works for what they were presenting. It works, and the other thing I will say is, and I don't know if the guy did Ragnarok, which, and I know this is blasphemous, but I kind of like this one a little bit more. But I could go back and watch Ragnarok and be like, oh yeah, this is clearly the better movie. I love them both; they're great, but I don't know. There was something about this one I like just a little bit more. Like I said, there's one particular scene you'll note when you see it where I had a friendly debate with a close confidant, and I was quite disappointed in his answer, which I'm sure he was quite disappointed with my retort in the matter. But it was really good. It's really great. I real quick, folks. I just want to get on a soapbox real quick. These kids, and I say kids because again, it's kind of in that ballpark where you work at a fast food place, you work at the movie theater, or something that is not the greatest paying job, but it's a job. It's trying to help pay your bills. And we're living in a society now where it's hard to find and keep workers. So if you are a patron that goes to said movie theater, and you are somebody that likes to give live commentary and you want to make sure that everybody hears you, particularly when it comes to talking about the people behind the desk, and you're going, oh my god, how hard is this? You just take a cup and you fill up the drink, and oh my god, like, people are gonna riot, blah, 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 blah. Get behind the counter and help, or shut the fuck up.
Basically, what he's trying to say is, don't be a see you next Tuesday.
Just like, this lay, and this is when we saw Thor. Again, was the line bad? Of course, but given the last handful of years, my empathy has risen, and I don't tolerate assholes anymore. It's like, you've been in that position before, ma'am, whatever the hell your fucking name was. But again, it was just the fact that she wanted everybody to know. She wanted everybody to know that she had a problem with what was going on. And one of the issues was, a couple dudes in front of me had ordered like a hot dog and some pizza and all that stuff. And again, this was just at Cinemark. It's not like it's not like the other fancier theaters where they'll actually bring the food to you. Like no, like they make it right there. He didn't realize that, but that's not his fault. But it's also not the fault of the other guy. He is just going about what you just ordered. So I'm just saying, guy, cut a little slack for these guys. You may look at it as a meaningless task. You're getting paid crap, but don't demean them. When again, these are 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. I don't know. End of my rant.
Also, don't be an asshole to people who have the ability to spit in your food. Just a general
Has
thought.
anybody ever seen Waiting? Do not fuck with the people who handle your food.
Exactly. Yes. Don't be an asshole in movie theaters to the workers, because they deal with enough shit as it is, and
And I told the dude behind the counter, like, I leaned in, I said, please spit in her popcorn.
yes, do that. It's fully okay. I feel like that should be a rule. If you deal with a Karen, you should be able to spit in their popcorn.
Well, whatever's, because this woman was beyond a Karen. I'm just gonna say that. And then she's like giving running commentary to like every human being walking by, like, oh, he's got tattoos on his face, blah blah blah. Guess what? Guess what? Well, like, if you had cancer and someone had the cure, are you gonna care that if they have tattoos on your face?
Yeah.
No, no.
Well, and that reminds me. There was a meme, and we have gone way off track. But anyway, it's the end of the episode, so that's what we do. There was a meme a couple years back, and it was two pictures side by side. It was a guy with, I think he was wearing like a wife beater with, like, he's full of tattoos all up his arms, on his neck, whatever. And then it shows him again.
In a doctor's outfit.
Yes. And it was like, does it really matter? Like, are you gonna say no if he's gonna save your life? Anyway, uh, I think that's about the end of our rants and our thoughts on stranger dinosaurs.
Or Jurassic things.
Or, speaking of Jurassic things, what the fuck is going on with Jungle Boy? Anyway,
Jungle. How about that made it into the show, by the way, at the skate rink? I popped. I was like, what?
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on with the booking. It doesn't make any sense.
No, nobody does. But hey, Booker of the Year.
Yeah. Anyway, we will see you next week, and I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be next week. We both had stuff come up the past 2 weeks, so we apologize for the 2 week delay. But we'll be back next week for another discussion, either on a movie or something having to do with entertainment. Yeah. So we will see you on the flippity dippity. I should make an outro with the
I,
beard and nipples. I'm just saying. I should.
oh my god, son
It
of
is
a bitch.
the greatest thing the DJ has ever said.
It still doesn't make any sense. It still does not make any fucking sense.
It doesn't have to because he had a beard and nipples.
But he did it Ron Burgundy like beard and nipples.
Nipples. All right, we will see you on the flippity dippity.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah.